The advice of an Akkadian father to his son is one of my favourite things from ancient Mesopotamia. It's absolutely timeless. Everything about this document is designed to instill good values and principles into a young man. It begins in the very first line. Do not set out to stand around in the assembly. Don't loiter. Don't waste your time. Don't loiter where there is this dispute, for in the dispute they will have you as an observer. You will be made witness. Keep to yourself. Mind your own business. It does you no particular good to be involved in someone else's dispute. And if a dispute involving you should flare up, calm it down. It doesn't do any good to become irrational, to become hot-headed, to do something rash. And I love this. A dispute is a covered pit, a wall which can cover its foes, and it brings to mind what one has forgotten, and makes an accusation against a man. The dispute itself is a bad thing, whether you're right or wrong. You'll end up being known as argumentative, confrontational. It gives you a bad reputation if you keep getting into disputes. Do not return evil to your adversary. Requite with kindness the one who does evil to you. Although 2,000 years before Jesus, this could have come directly out of his mouth. And it's just about being the better man. Don't return evil to your adversary, because then you haven't done any evil. Requite with kindness, because then you're the better person. Maintain justice for your enemy, which is so important. Just the very principle that everyone is entitled to justice, whether they are your friend or foe. And when you are dealing with your foe, you have to ensure that they receive justice, because then when it comes to be your time to require justice, they will be indebted to make sure that you receive it in turn. The only way a good system can be maintained is through consistency. And the next paragraph is just about being a good person. Be generous and be honourable. And the reward is always that the god takes pleasure. I love it. It's pleasing to Shamash, who will repay you with favour. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What goes around comes around. Do good things, be kind all your days. It's very interesting that then the father begins to give advice on women. Do not honour a slave girl in your house. She should not rule over your bedroom like a wife. Do not give yourself over to slave girls. That's very interesting because, it tacitly implies that having a wife means that she rules your bedroom. And a woman who is a slave girl doesn't respect you. There is no reverence or submissiveness in her. When you have trouble, she will not support you. When you have a dispute, she will be a mocker. Just stating it shows that the implication is that marriage is a partnership. There needs to be respect from both parties. And if you marry a woman who doesn't respect you, then you will not be respected. It's just sound advice. And ultimately, the father thinks that she'll end up pricking up her ears for the footsteps of another. The father then tells his son how to deal with authority, and while this was obviously relating specifically to ancient Mesopotamian rulers, it's still sound advice. If you find yourself entrusted with something of extreme value, and you think that you're the only person who will be able to get away with stealing from it, don't do it, because at the end of the day, you will probably be exposed. The wrong of stealing is self-evident, and then it's an appeal to self-interest. You're going to get caught if you do it, so you may as well just not. The fifth paragraph deals with personal conduct. Do not speak ill, only good. Do not say evil things. Speak well of people. He who speaks ill and says evil, people will waylay him because of his debt to Shamash. I think what that really means is these things will draw in people who are bad people. They will bring to you people who do not speak good and who only speak ill, and it reflects on you the things you say. If you say good things, then people will think of you as a good person. If you say bad things, then bad people will come to you. And also, be wise with what you say. Don't talk too freely. Don't express your innermost thoughts even when you're alone. That's very interesting because the father's obviously worried about someone hearing the son saying something negative about someone else that will obviously be something you regret later. Exert yourself to restrain your speech. It's just moderation, temperance. There's never a bad time to be sensible. The last paragraph deals with religion, but it's more the effect that I'm interested in. And I think ultimately that's probably the effect that the father was interested in as well. Worship your god every day. Sacrifice and pious utterance are the proper accompaniment of incense. Well, that's true, I'm sure, to the ancient Akkadians. I've got no doubt. But what it also does is teaches discipline to the child. It instills a sense of constancy, of regularity and reliability, things that he will need later on in life. Ultimately, these are a very wise set of instructions set down for the betterment of the individual that will provide the betterment of society. If everyone in society acted this way, you would have a very well-ordered and well-conducted civilization. I love that this was written at such an early stage in human civilization. It just goes to show that these principles are part of human nature. So much of what was in this text would be applicable to young men in the modern era.